So it's story time. I invite you to partake in the body of George. This is the body of my Capstone project. When the morning came at the end of November 2023, I awoke with a phone call from Sadie, my wife's daughter, that my wife had died on the way to the doctor's appointment in the back of a Medicaid taxi. She died on January 28, 2023, and left me in this world alone, destitute, while she suffocated when her trach clogged in the back of the taxi. She is alive in my life experience and left with all I knew of unconditional love. Sadness is still overwhelming. The day changed my life and made me a better person because I really had to face facts. I lost my job, which was taking care of my wife. I lost my housing. It was not an option to stay. I lost Tracy, my wife of 9 years. A lot of loss. Then that day was realized. I understand what I was going through was grief. And it has a process only unto myself. To this day, I understand how brave I needed to be, how courageous I was to carry on and continue with school and honor her memory by being my best person. Being Peace on Main Street is a product of a pact I made with Tracy to always do for others, take on the role of a helper, and create peace in my life, community, and relationships. I made it clear that I would never go back to being a selfish and ignorant person feeding my starving ego. I decided to study mindfulness and create art that reflects my space hippie baptismal mythology. I decided to love every human being through equality and love myself fully. I understand now that what I was doing was making myself available to be an instrument of peace and compassion. Taking my art to the street and talking about it. Like my art teacher said, if you want to understand your art, talk to other people about it. My quest for equality was also realized that when I started going on the street and selling my art, I started talking to people and getting a feel for what it means to be a part of people and not just separate from people. From my understanding, life is people. Everyone matters because this life is precious. Equality, emptiness, loving kindness, and mercy were my mindfulness tools. Being Peace on Main Street was born with the mindfulness of peace work, inclusivity, and hope for a better world where everyone has a part. Welcome became my one-word invitation because any real conversation includes an invitation. My role as an artist was applied to my community with the understanding community reflects society, and I want a better society. I need to work with the community. So I created a website, a YouTube channel, and social media to get people involved in my Longmont community. This magical idea was that I was going to promote that one person, one peaceful person, can change all of society. Poetry and mixtapes were provided to the community, along with wellness practices and healthy human behavior on the street. I embodied the works of Thich Hanh using bibliomancy to read the teachings daily. When I started to look deeply into people and use loving kindness to relate to the humanness of the public. Understanding that if I could lead by example to children and promote goodwill and fellowship with adults, that I would be a public figure for peace, to honor Tracy. Being a peaceful poet and peace activist, I saw a lot of people suffering on the street. I also fell in love with humanity and wanted to relieve the suffering people just by listening to them. I tried to understand people's thought processes and thought patterns and their humanity. People would come to me for advice, and I would console them with positivity and kindness. I was a friend to teenagers and young adults and their parents. I would get to know them through their dogs and share with them my wisdom of my life experience, all the while using peace as a platform for meaning and purpose in the lives of people who had never even thought about that. Peace comes from within an individual regardless of their life. Qualities such as tranquility, patience, respect, compassion, kindness, self-control, courage, moderation, forgiveness, and equanimity, and the ability to see the big picture can promote peace within an individual. Understanding that no one can give you inner peace. You need to create that within. And I am an artist, so I can create peace in my own life, providing that to the public. Also, people need peace and resolution in functioning in life. Peace is essential to the well-being and purposeful life. Most people I see dragging their corpses, already defeated by life, without a need to awake in a world of the living. I saw the disconnect between the haves and the have-nots, the sick, the lonely, and the downtrodden, and the ones who live life fully, free of society's chains. The mindfulness of the interbeing of all people creates the meaning of emptiness in my peace work. Emptiness is equality, which would be a way of understanding people's liberation or lack thereof liberation. Thich Nhat Hanh explains 3 doors of liberation being emptiness, signlessness, and aimlessness. When I apply this teaching to my street artist work, because I became liberated from my old ways of thinking. There was an understanding within me to share this liberation with the world and remove ignorance and selfishness and needless suffering. Again, life is people, and it takes peace to survive in a hateful world of selfishness and ignorance. Society is an extension of us as people. I cannot condemn society as a whole or make it the opposition, but I can write poetry to critique it. The poet is in the service of saying whatever it needs to be said in the given time in history. The poet also has a responsibility to not create socialist dribbles that nobody wants to read. As a poet, I straddle a line by writing the truth of what I observe and witness. I can articulate in conversation the things I find sad and trite. In the hours I spent on the street, sitting in a chair talking to people, I learned that people are amazing. Society is created each day by what parents teach their children. A society is made up of people, their culture, values, lifestyle, political and economic conditions. Thank you.